we can start from the beginning, I guess.
Okay. Once
yeah.
upon a time.
Yeah. So how did we all begin? When people ask us, you know, how did you guys meet? It used to be cringy,
Yeah.
but yeah, how did we meet?
Well, yeah, I used to feel cringy until I feel like we both realized how common it's become. It's really not cringe anymore. But we met on a dating app and had a little bit of a rocky start. And then we came back together and it's been good.
There's more to it, but yeah.
Spark note
That's
version.
the Spark Notes. I mean, yeah. That was 4 years ago. And now we're getting married in 5 days.
Yeah.
Which
Crazy.
is, yeah, it's pretty crazy. Just trying to think back on how we were before. I changed dramatically. I don't know if you even changed. I don't know. You've always been like solid. Like,
Well, no, I definitely changed too. I feel like I did some growing up too. I mean, when we first met, I mean, I think it's safe to say, you were more the heavy drinker and partier than me, but I was also, a little irresponsible. And I mean, I was drinking too. It wasn't like I wasn't. And I think for me, like my change has been more so like how I've changed with how I am in a relationship. That's been my growth throughout our journey.
what's the before and after?
Well, I mean, like, I know we don't typically talk about past relationships, but I was just definitely a lot more impatient and particular, nitpicky. Felt like I had to do it all myself.
Well, yeah, because like we were single.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about you asked in
the
past.
relationship.
Yeah, this is for me. It's like the change has been. I've grown in our relationship compared to my previous relationships.
Well, yeah, we're at the finish line.
Yeah.
Well, the starting line and the finish line.
Yeah.
But
the end of one chapter.
Yeah.
Beginning of a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't seem like you changed dramatically externally as a character in this relationship. You held that inside, right?
Yeah, I guess it must have been
What does that even mean,
internal. I don't know. I mean, I guess like for me, maybe it wasn't something that was obvious because it was a decision I made even during me being single, before I met the next person or got into the next serious relationship. I wanted to make sure I approached it differently. I made those changes. So maybe that's why it wasn't like, because it wasn't something I guess that I changed necessarily like I wasn't impatient and all those things with you when we first started dating, because I already knew even before I met you that I didn't want to do those things. I didn't want to be like that anymore. And honestly, it's refreshing being with you, because you don't bring those things out of me. Like, I don't have a need.
What are those things?
To be like that, like nitpicky, nagging, like, you know, yelling, all that stuff. Like, I mean, I feel like you and I, we do really well of working together and communicating. And I mean, on my end, I haven't felt overburdened in our relationship. So I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. No, this is a crazy exercise. Like, we haven't done this in deep before, but so the timeline, we met on online, we started dating for a little bit, and we moved in after 8 months.
Yeah. When you know, you know.
Well, I don't know, from your perspective. My perspective, it was just logical. It was just, I'm sick and tired of the commuting between houses, because we lived like 25, 30 minutes away.
Which really isn't even that far, saying it out loud when you think about it. But yeah.
But it was still...
I think it was more than... I think it was like an hour.
Well, my place to
Meisenheimer?
Yeah. It was long.
I feel like I would say 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, that was kind of annoying.
Yeah.
But for me, it was just logical. And I was just like, okay, like, I didn't see it as like the next step into the next chapter into our relationship. I feel like I kind of just fell into it. But the layers of the onion, it was like, I didn't want to think that this was a big step in the relationship.
Yeah. At
that point, I did not. I was like, okay, I'm just moving in. This is no big deal. It's not, doesn't mean anything. If it goes south, I still have a way out somehow.
You could have found a place on your own. You would have been fine.
Yeah.
I was the broke student, grad student. So you would have been fine.
Yeah, so freaking moved in now. One income, you're going to school. That was pretty stressful. And I had like 10 grand saved up, and I poured like 70% of that into the Jeep.
Yeah.
Trying to make videos on YouTube and all that stuff was part of my identity. And you kind of were just there supporting me. I didn't really... When I think back on those times, it's like, I don't feel like I put enough effort into our relationship. But I knew, I don't know. I feel like if I talked to my past self, it was like, I think I did have a cut-off point. Like, okay, work stops. Now we got a date.
Yeah.
Was that the case?
I feel like you balanced the stuff that you were trying to do, but I mean, I think even in times where like, when I felt like, you know, you pursuing the YouTube videos and the camping and the videos and all that stuff, like when I did feel like it was interfering with our relationship, like I just told you and we just talked about it and then we reeled it back in. And I mean, we did a good job of having like different date nights. We would do game night, you know, with our friends and go out to eat or, you know. And I think also for us, it helped that the avenue you were pursuing on YouTube happened to be a big hobby and interest of mine anyway. So even if like in your head, like really, it wasn't until after the fact, whenever you started telling me more about how you felt with the YouTube stuff and whatnot, and when you wanted to pivot, it wasn't until then that I realized that to you, those camping trips were more so for the sake of work, side gig. For me, in my perspective, in that during that time, my frame was we're going camping, you and I, and the YouTube videos are the side thing. You know what I mean? So it was like, you know, I didn't feel any type of way because to me, like we were still spending time together and we're still doing something that we both enjoy. Even if for you, maybe sounds like at times maybe you felt like the YouTube videos was your primary and the relationship was secondary.
Yeah. I mean, it was like ebb and flow. They were competing because like I started camping by myself before even implementing YouTube videos. And that's where I kind of found my solitude and my thoughts and organized my thoughts in my 20s. Well, in a matter of like a couple years, like maybe across 10 different camping trips across 1 or 2 years by myself before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some with friends here and there, but mostly by myself. And transitioning from there, the vision was to make videos, so I was super serious about that, but I don't think you understood how serious I was.
Yeah, I didn't.
Until I burnt out.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, and then I was like, what's wrong? What's wrong with you?
I'm like, all of it felt like work. Like it went from leisure, right? And then I found myself and then, you know, made this character around camping and making videos. And then like both my love for camping and videos consumed me so much and my bandwidth that I couldn't do it anymore. And that was last year. We're fast forwarding so much, but that was last year.
Yeah.
Or now to 2024 when we decided to move here to Florida.
No, that's 2025.
No, it was 2020. We moved to Florida in 2025.
Yeah.
2024, we decided to move to Florida.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
But I mean, just reeling it back to like when we first started dating and then you found out the videos and the stuff, like what was it like dating someone who was so erratic and still trying to find and figure out what emotional IQ is?
Well,
someone who's very angry and then very loving at the same time.
Yeah.
Just like there was no middle ground.
It was a roller coaster, but throughout it all, I knew that, I don't know. I mean, I always tell you, I knew I just had to, once you peel the layers, I knew there was going to be a pot of gold at the center. And I was willing to work with you to get there and feel like for me, it's been really inspiring seeing how much you've changed and how much you continue to change. And I mean, at this point, you're outpacing me in some of the stuff when it comes to, emotional intelligence and being hyper aware of things like that. And so, yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a journey.
Yeah, I'm too humble to accept that. I don't know how I'd be outpacing you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think so. In what regard?
I mean, it's what we've been butting heads on lately, but you're a lot more selfless than I am. And I admire you for that, because that's something that I'm always, I know I need to work on. And even if I don't like it when you call me out, when I'm not being 100% selfless, I know it's coming from a good place. And
the problem is when I point it out, it's like too intense again, which was like part of my past struggles. Like most of the first couple years of us dating was like too intense.
Yeah.
I think. I don't even know how.
I feel like I kind of just like blotted out some of those times.
I am too. That's why I'm trying to figure this out. T-minus 5 days until our wedding. Like, I wanted to document something for us and go through this. Going through this exercise is what we do on the daily, and putting it on video, now it's challenging us to like make sense of it for somebody else that could possibly get to this point. Because most people can't talk like this.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate to witness that all around. And what can you do? I mean, you can just lead by example. And this is what we're trying to do here. Well, I'm putting you on camera and I'm doing all these things, and like, I don't know what we're doing here, but we're here.
All right. So I guess let's try to think about when we first started dating. I guess the context of it is I was in grad school still and super busy all the time. And you were already working, established in your job and in your career. And I can't speak for you, but for me, I think also like it was, even though it was a very hectic time in my life with studying all the time and all the stuff that goes with that, but us dating during that time was my outlet, was a good outlet for me too. Like, I feel like it was like, I looked forward to it. I was
about to say outlet. I'm just
no,
just a hobby.
That's the wrong word. That's the wrong word that I'm using, I guess. But like more like, like I anticipate, like I looked forward to it.
Yeah, me too.
Because it was like, I'm like, have all this stress of all this stuff. And it was like, but we have this coming up, or we have this trip coming up, or, we're going to do this. So it was a good time for me. I feel like I was receptive and open to like building that companionship with someone during that time. So I don't know. I guess I was just willing to put up with whatever, I don't know. I mean, even whenever the times where you got frustrated or, your temper or whatever, like, it didn't scare me away, because I was like, I knew we'd work through it, and we always did. And then it helped too when, as we longer we dated, and the longer, like the more I found out about, you know, your background and your childhood and, you know, all those things, and we started peeling those layers, it made more sense to me why you react the way you react in certain situations. So that allowed me to have more patience with you and come from a perspective of empathy and understanding instead of judgment all the time. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I do get mad too, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we both got, well, I'm more hard on myself. I only see the bad times when I think about the past, which is like still a weird outlook. You know, I only like
what's an example of like, what's a memory that sticks out to you?
Well, everything I'm talking about right now, like the problems with my emotional intelligence and everything that I'm working on that's in the forefront of our relationship. And, you know, I look back at our last year in Florida, it's like, you know, we had a lot of good times, but I'm laser focused on the bad because we tried to become, well, we're type A in this regard. We try to be better in every single aspect of this, what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
And I don't think about the good because it's good.
Well, and for me, I feel like I remember good more than bad.
Yeah, you're good at that.
I think we're just like, yeah, you're the peanut butter to my jelly.
Okay. I thought you were just going to say 2 peas in a pod, but that's like you're saying your wrong sayings again. One more again. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have anything for me? I've just realized it's getting dark, so I'm gonna turn this on. Let's see if that helps. Yeah, for sure. Oh, and the backlight too. Look at that. No, that light can stay. But same timeline. What's in your mind for me? Before we get into how monumentally important last year was.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you talk about me having patience with you, but I'd say it takes a certain person to be willing to start a relationship with someone who is very busy and also laser focused at that time with my own, you know, building up my own career aspirations. And yeah, I mean, you've always been very flexible and supportive of everything. So, yeah. I'm just grateful. Yeah, I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
Thinking back, you know, used to do a lot of the cooking and cleaning and all that stuff.
I cleaned?
Well, the dishes.
No.
But yeah, I mean, you were a big help. And
yeah, I kind of forget, like, life is like pretty black and white. And when you're a student, it's like you're really doing one thing in the books and studying, or you're not.
Yeah.
There's no like work nowadays. It's like, well, you're doing one thing, but you got to do all these other things at the same time too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but I feel like even now with work, I feel like both of us do a good job of turning off work mode when the work hour is done. Like, you know?
But we try. Sometimes it seeps in a little bit. But
sometimes.
if you don't, then you notice. We learned that there's a pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Because like back then when that's why I stopped editing at night into, being a night owl.
Mm-hmm.
You
Oh
never
yeah,
turn
that's a big
off.
shift too.
That was terrible.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I
That's-
used to stay up and then I would go to bed first by myself.
But I think that is, I want to explore that this year again, because or maybe not. Maybe this is all we need, this setup. But like, there's something to be said about the entrepreneurs out there that are like, well, I'm one of those, like, if you don't have that grinding period, like all the hours on the Jeep, all the hours filming it, and like just exhausted and burning out weekly and still grinding and pushing, and then coming back editing for hours and hours and hours, and like feeling always behind because now I have wedding footage to edit, I have Jeep footage I wanted to get to, and if I didn't put all those hours in, those projects would have never been complete. And some of those videos are like, they're going to be my best work. And now that we're trying to start a family and we're getting married in 5 days, it's like, this is not my last hurrah, but it's like, the work needs to be done for that to happen again. And looking back on it, it's like, something tells me I want to do that again. Now I'm projecting, but but I've been thinking about that for a while. Trying to figure out this next path, and stealing the floor there, but this year is about focus, and we're clearing out the basement. I want to start talking more consistently, and if it means, giving up that for something better, it's exactly a good transition into the next, like fast forwarding through all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We're growing as characters, we're growing as people, and all of a sudden, start with the freaking proposal. 3 years in, you don't know how you graduate, you don't know how work goes, and there's something called 3 payday months, and somehow I don't know where this is going to go, but yeah, I surprised you with the ring because I had a 3 payday month.
Yeah.
How did walk us through like that?
Yeah. So it was coming up on Thanksgiving, and we were really excited because it was going to be the first time both of our parents got to meet each other and hang out. And yeah, it's funny. I mean, me personally, and like aside from the day of the proposal, I had no idea. He bought a ring and all that stuff. I had no idea. But it wasn't until the day of that I was like, okay, he's acting a little weird. But I was like, I don't know. And then I was like, well, maybe. But the thing that made me think maybe it's an engagement, but I was like, I wasn't really thinking it that much because my family members are crazy. And so that they had a dream that you were going to propose on Thanksgiving.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah. So I actually was more so like anticipating it during the family gathering on Thanksgiving.
But that didn't happen.
But it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So I remember going into the Thanksgiving dinner and I made sure I was wearing a cute outfit and I was going to be ready to go if anything. And then nothing happened. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then, of course, it was the next day when we went camping. And went camping with your parents. And then we met up with my parents at, the hotel at the Grove Park Inn, which we always go to. And on the way to the Grove Park Inn, that's when you started acting weird. Like, yeah. You're just, I can't pinpoint it, but you were just acting, something was off. I was like, okay, this is weird. Something's off, something's happening. I was like, oh, whatever. And so then, we get there, we get all the way down the stairs outside. And as we're going down the stairs too, well, I was a little tipsy by then. So that worked in your favor because had I been sober, I probably would have been asking a lot more questions. Like, why are we going all the way down here?
Well, you did ask all those questions.
Well, yeah, but I was also kind of tipsy and I was like, whatever, like Casey's being Casey.
I had my camera out and everything. I was vlogging. And
well, yeah, the camera, that I didn't suspect anything because you're always, at the time, you were always vlogging. You were always wanting to capture the moment for stuff. So,
yeah,
I didn't think anything of that. Then we get to the bottom. And then whenever you got on your knee, I was like, but then my sassiness came out. You want to finish the story?
Because I didn't say anything. I was just there. Take it. But I didn't say anything.
So, yeah. Then I had to prompt you. And then you asked if I could marry you. I wanted to marry you. And I said yes. And it was really exciting. It was special having both of our parents there in that moment. And being able to immediately celebrate with them, that was pretty cool. That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah, and what a roller coaster from there.
Yeah.
Oh. Could have been worse, but it's pretty bad.
What?
Well, going into, yeah, I know this is kind of a cliffhanger right now. No, going into our first wedding planning series and then canceling that and postponing it to where we are now. But essentially, what did we learn? From there, we started planning. Supposed to get married September 2025. It was, at the time it was, I don't know why we waited a whole year first, too. It was going to be a 1.5 year wedding.
It was because at the time we thought that we needed that much time to plan it because we were just stressing out about it and we were stressing out not wanting to stress out. And I remember us thinking, okay, no, if we give a year, then we'll have plenty of time to do everything little by little and we can take our time. And
well, didn't you have to graduate first?
No, I had already I think I already graduated by then. Didn't I? No, maybe I didn't.
We waited for some reason. And,
I don't remember that exact part. I don't remember.
But anyways, yeah. Life went on. And then we planned the wedding for a year and a half later. It would have been 2023 November going into 2024. Live life.
Oh, no, I already graduated because I remember, now I remember I was at work. I was working already because I remember going to work and sharing the news with my coworkers.
Oh, okay.
I was already working.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 2023. And we decided to wait because, and we wanted a fall wedding, but
yeah, we wanted a fall
but
wedding.
2023 ends 2024, and we didn't. It was probably financial. We couldn't
think it was
afford
financial. I think it was financial because we had this idea of like
fall wedding.
this fall wedding had to be perfect.
Because if it wasn't fall, it would have been spring, and spring was way too close. And then the next fall, we didn't have have any money.
Yeah,
I know that for sure.
Well,
because you just started
working.
Yeah,
I just started working
exactly.
At that point. Yeah.
So then 2024 ends, and also my videos end. We were camping through and through 2023 to 2024, and I was consistent up until about August. And that's when we decided to move to Florida. And for 3 months, it was like sitting in that, no videos, no working. You just got to wait until you get to Florida to do something else.
Well, to clarify, you were still working your full-time job.
No, yeah. Not working on videos. You
just weren't doing, not trying to do the entrepreneurial side of things anymore.
Yeah. But that was a pretty pivotal moment because I was axing my previous character. We were both axing our previous characters and going from the mountains to the beach.
Yeah.
That didn't sit well with me.
We didn't even really like go into this move thinking initially that we were going to be living in Florida. Like,
yeah, we were.
Not initially. No, it was just serendipity and timing aligning with, yes, we started going through this period of time where we both felt like, okay, we knew we needed a change. We needed to get out of where we were living and our current mindset.
We wanted to move, but we didn't know it was Florida.
Yeah.
True. We were exploring California. We were exploring other states.
Yeah.
But we wanted to move.
Yeah. I guess like looking back at that time period when there was like that uncertainty that started coming up in us. For you, I guess, what do you think sparked it? Was it like, where did it come from?
Sparked wanting to move to Florida?
Spark wanting to move, period.
Oh. It was just explorative. Like, wanting to move was exciting because I was also getting sick of where we were too. But I didn't know that meant we have to move 4 states away. But I was just exploring our options and I think we just stumbled into this thing. Like, people only dream about living in Florida and never get here. And I was just like, okay, let's see if we decide to do this, let's sit with it for a week. Okay, it's been like 2 weeks now. It sounds kind of cool. Oh, shoot. It's like a month. Oh, we made a decision like 2 months ago. It kind of just like, I feel it kind of just like happened. But nowhere else made sense.
Yeah.
Nowhere else sat well because we would have been alone. Like you interviewed in Northern California. We could have been there, but we have no support there.
Yeah.
And now we have friends here, or back then we thought, at least we have friends here that are Catholic and awesome, and we have
at the time,
like-minded
though,
values.
I think we didn't even really focus on the whole Catholicism side of things because
True.
we weren't there yet.
No.
We were just more so like, well, at least we'll have some friends there. We'll know somebody there, but I think it does, like, on my end, as we were going through this time and we're like figuring things out, for me, I say that things just aligned too. Like, I agree with that. Like, things just kind of happened because I remember on my end, I just remember feeling I was getting really burnt out at work and I was just becoming miserable. And I mean, I was still pretty early on in my career to be that miserable. So I knew I needed change. But on the same token, I felt like I needed change, not just within my workplace, but also my overall environment to continue to grow and evolve as a person. I needed to get outside of my comfort zone, because after I graduated, I moved back to my hometown. And I thought that was going to be great. But then I realized it was like same old, like, nothing's really changed. The environment wasn't challenging me to change. And I wanted that. So that's kind of what propelled, from my perspective, on my end of like why I wanted to move. But then, yeah.
And I was just supportive.
Yeah. And then, the job opportunity presented itself, to my friend. And from there, I remember back then, even like, we weren't really religious back then, but even back then, I considered myself to be spiritual. Like, I still always, I would pray in times where I felt like I needed to pray, or like personally.
I would not.
And yeah, during that time, I remember I put it in God's hands, and I prayed about it. And I said, well, whatever's meant to be will be. And yeah, I feel like we were being guided, whether we knew it or not.
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, that's how we live our lives now, or that's how we should be living our lives. But that is like, that's exactly how I feel like I'm living my life, at least, or trying to.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we moved to Florida in February 2025 and stumbled into the church. And after like a couple masses in March, I forget exactly when, we decide to, oh crap, not decide to, but we were like, oh crap, we're doing this wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage number one, or wedding number one, is not going to go down how we want to if we do want to step back into the church.
Mm-hmm.
And we did step back into the church. And, we have our friends, family giving us guidance, but was primarily our friends down here. And how many people get to say that they've met a father and hung out with a father and a priest?
Yeah. A young one. At
Oh,
that.
yeah, we're very young. 25 or something. It's probably 26 now. But.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we met a priest and he gave us some guidance, led us to water, and eventually we decide to postpone the wedding, cancel plan number 1, which cost us 20 grand, and then go forth and set up a new wedding right now, which is now in 5 days, which our budget is like inch in 35.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who does that?
I mean, it sounds crazy on paper, but going through it, it's also just like the feelings and the emotions that we felt throughout. And I mean, really being touched by the Holy Spirit, honestly, because it's hard to explain the feeling, but when we started going back into the Catholic faith, and once we both learned more about the importance of marriage within the Catholic faith, I think that really opened our eyes and it changed our perspective. I mean, for me, like, I was, I grew up Catholic, yes, and I knew that marriage was always very serious. And to me, getting married through the church was the ultimate marriage in my head, because that's how I was brought up, is like, if you're married through the church, that's it. That's the real deal. But that was it. Like, I didn't know the whys behind it. So when we got back into the faith, even just a little bit, and learned about it more, heard about it more, friends were a really good resource. Having those discussions with the priest, who's their friend also, was that was the pivotal moment for me. When we spoke to the priest. And it was a very casual, just us hanging out and just talking. But I remember in that moment is when I got this feeling that I just knew deep down I couldn't go through with the marriage that we had thought we wanted to pursue beforehand, which would have been like, the fantasy wedding on a mountaintop, beautiful venue, like, top tier, everything, just the fairy tale wedding that that people think that they want, right? It just didn't feel right. And I knew we couldn't do it anymore. We couldn't do that.
Yeah. And all of these, bending the rules here and there. How can we avoid canceling the wedding and losing 20 grand? And what does that look like? That was a stressful time, canceling all that. But once we made the decision, like, okay, we can't bend the rules. We can't do this. We can't do that. Our marriage is nothing without the foundation of God with it. And that was the most important thing to us. And it ate us alive, inside and out.
Yeah.
Talk about stress.
Yeah.
Trying to get married, but like God doesn't see you as getting married. You put 20 grand into it. He's like, okay, God, what do we do here? He's like, you're in the hot seat.
Well,
you have one easy decision to make, and you got to do it or not. This is where you come with me or walk away forever. Well, not forever, but like.
Yeah, there's convalidation in the Catholic faith
but
as well.
that is also, that is not.
But then remember, we were even toying with that. Like, it was tough at first. We really, because, us being just humans, right? We wanted it to still be our way somehow. We wanted to still have full control of everything. And at one point we were even thinking, well, what if we just still pursue this North Carolina wedding on the mountaintop? and then just do the convalidation afterwards. And that way we don't waste all this money and we get to still have the wedding we want and blah, blah, blah. But even that, we knew it didn't sit right because once you know something, you can't just turn the other way. Like, because that would have sat on us and we would have felt guilty because we would have known that we were deceiving God, basically. You know, like we were doing this with the intent of trying to just fix it later, you know, and that's not right.
Yeah. No, Adam and Eve, like, here's the tree. Do not eat from the tree. Okay, well, what if I just kind of like get the leaves, not the apple? I just want the leaves. No, don't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, what a crazy yet another pivotal moment in our lives. Like so close together, like moving to Florida, learning how to work at the hospital, learning how to work remotely for me. Mm-hmm. And now we got to learn how to throw away 20 grand. But after we made the decision, it was so good. It was so good after
the weight
that.
lifted. Yeah.
And now circling back 5 days, there's no regrets. Mm-mm. 5 days from now, we're doing it again. Finally, and there's no regrets of the 20 grand is like nothing. We forget about. I mean, very fortunate, very blessed to, you know, be in that position to like do that. And some people don't have that decision to make.
Yeah.
But
it still hurt though. I mean, that's a big chunk of change. And I think, you know, this is something that I'm still working on as an individual, but you know, when it comes to finances, like I've always been like kind of stingy, I guess you can say, with my finances. Like I've always been like more of the try to save as much as you can, try to spend as little bit as you can. Like, is that really necessary? If I am going to splurge, like, you know, it's going to be something that's going to last me a long time, you know, like that's just always been my mindset. So to just invest all of that money into the North Carolina wedding, I mean, I was really holding on to that. Like it was really hard to just be like, oh, it's okay. Let's just, whatever. Let's just, you know, like I didn't take it lightly at all. But I think it just goes down to, again, once you know, you know.
Yep.
You can't look back. You can't go back.
Okay. Hold up. Thought. We're going to do a Joe Rogan gotta pee break. How do you pause this thing? Okay. All right. Lesson number 1 of podcasting now.
No pee breaks.
Well, that, and don't drink like... This is probably my 4th soda after like cleaning the house and stuff. Because I was like, it's Sunday. I'm gonna leisure because God told me to.
Yeah, leisure, not indulge.
Well, he also said take work off, and I mean, it's always like kind of. I'm not guilty, but there's a sense of guilt when like we're working on something like that makes you sweat or makes you like really hardcore, you know, work on something. Cause, today, like Adam and Eve and Noah is very top of mind because I'm journaling in that new notebook now. You guys got to see this. So, I know this is off topic, but I bought this like
a long time ago,
like 2 years ago, and I haven't found, because it's so cool, I haven't found a reason to write in it because it is like leather bound, like bamboo paper, 260 pages worth of stuff. And I pulled the trigger, and this is going to be my Bible study book. And this is why I was trying to find the chalk.
Oh, yeah.
This is the house to my mind. I just looked it up. I doubted myself for a sec. Can I do this? And, Google said, yeah, why not?
It's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing to your house. Essentially, I wrote down like the blessing to the house for 2026, but in my journal.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the house to the mind. Just like, this is how you close it. So this is my new journal for 2026, but AKA it's filled with 4 pages of day 1 through 4 of the Bible in a year notes, but there's going to be extra pages in there for more reflection. We got to get into that the next episode, because something's brewing in my studies that I want to tell you, but that's for next time. Let's stick to
talk theology.
Let's reel it back in. Well, I mean, yeah, before we reel it back in, like, it's just like the teaser of it is not, yes, there's theology in it. I'm trying to make sense of scripture, but like, I had a couple, what's it called, Jonah moments this week.
Really?
In the last couple of days.
But
too much. Reeling it back in. Where were we at? The stepping back into the church was the greatest thing that we could ever do last year. And since then, it has been such, like, life has just been so easy.
Yeah.
It seems.
A lot less anxiety. I mean, there's still been stressful moments, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's been just more peace in the house, within myself, I think within you too. And it's nice when you know and you acknowledge that not everything is within your control, and it's not supposed to be. Like, we're not put here to micromanage everything in life. Like, it's God's plan ultimately. And I don't know. I feel like the whole thing just kind of coming back to the church, it reshaped our outlook on life. And for me, it's a good reminder to reel it back in a bit. And, I've always been a big planner, and this has to be this way. This has to be this way. We're going to do this, then this is going to happen. And that just produces a lot of anxiety and unnecessary stress. It's pretty nice when you can literally say, Jesus, take the wheel, because he has the wheel. And, and that's perfectly fine. You got to just trust in the plan.
Yeah. Talk about planning. We got wedding in 5 days, but.
Yeah, that's been a lot of planning.
But you can't just like stop wedding planning and say, all right, I'm done. But then like freaking, what? I didn't have a freaking place to get ready.
Yeah. He was about to be getting ready in the hallway.
If once we learn that, it's like, okay, Jesus took the wheel. You got to figure it out. Nah, Jesus got it. No, you got to do something about it.
Yeah. No, yeah. You still got to do the work, but it's just less pressure when you're doing the work. Like, for instance, for me, I feel like really diving into leaning on our faith and just God and Jesus, and it's changed my approach to how I interact with our vendors. Like, old Brianna probably would have like been super sassy and rude to the majority of our vendors by now because things haven't gone how I thought they would go, you know, and they do things differently than how I would do things. But I've had a lot of grace and just, you know, I've really tried to just approach each situation with just compassion and understanding. And the world does not revolve around me. The world does not revolve around us in our wedding. These are human beings who have lives of their own, other commitments that they also have to uphold, and just really trying to do that frame shift. And it's been helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something to say about walking with Christ, walking with God as you go through life. And something that always like resonated with me before getting back into the church. It's like, I don't need God. I just need strength, courage, passion, fire, you know, and discipline to get through anything that I need to do because I'm an adult. I can do this myself. And no, you can't. And when you allow him back into your life, it's like a superpower. I mean, life doesn't get easier, but the stressors get easier. You know, identifying when you're pushing too hard gets easier because to obsess with something so much that it breaks down, to obsess something so much is not a sin, but to obsess over something that it breaks down your temple or it breaks down relationships around you, that's hurtful. That's sinful. And I feel like I was walking through life before like that. It's my way or the highway. This is how it should be done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to build this Jeep. I'm going to make these videos. Get out of my way. And I was in my own way. You know, averaging 4 hours of sleep, that's not good for me.
Yeah.
Well, what does that do to the stress and the, you know, how I carried myself throughout my days? It's like, well, that doesn't help that either. Because like I am, you know, no one is a nice person when they're sleep deprived.
No.
So yeah, allowing God to just, what did I learn today? God doesn't just want you to believe in him. He wants you to, I just read Genesis today. I've done this. Like, he wants you to not just believe in him, but let's just look at it. Freaking craziness in here. I don't even know what I'm talking about because I'm still learning all this stuff. So, how do you want me to walk with you today is what we should be asking ourselves. Anyways, someone out there will correct me because I don't know anything. I'm on day 4. I've not read this far into the Bible ever. So I'm learning, and I'm proud to say I don't know. But anyways, having God with you is good. That's all I got.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that.
Now with that, like going through 2025 up until now, what a year. There's not much to say other than it's one of the best years of my life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think it is the best year of my life.
Yeah. It's been really good. I mean, we had a lot of new stuff going on this past year. Kickstarted out with the move to a different state. You know, I feel like that really propelled us forward and encouraged us to lean on each other even more, because we don't have family out here. So we really have to like we are each other's family, you know? Which I feel like we've always kind of had that feeling even when we lived in North Carolina, but I feel like we've even like grown in that aspect of like fostering not just the relationship, but I guess more of the friendship within our relationship. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah. I mean, also getting back into the church and to marriage prep, we're celibate.
Yeah.
We've been celibate for like 8 months now, which is crazy.
Yeah.
And you have to learn how to love your person a little bit differently. And, you know, struggled at first. No, I don't think I struggled, but it was like, I struggled mentally to like shift my thoughts. I mean, we can go deep into this right now, real quick. Like, I struggled with porn. Whoa. Like, I think 99% of guys struggle with porn. And that seeped into our relationship when going through this process of celibacy and marriage prep. Just like the temptation of it all, because of how men objectify women. And that never really healed in my brain until, I don't know, maybe like 2-3 months into the celibacy. But yeah, I struggled with porn through our engagement up until, you know, we moved to Florida and got back into the church. And this is not the first time she's hearing this, but, you know, it's something I wish more men could explore. Because this, if God is a superpower, number one, this is superpower number two, is to abstain and detach your brain as a man from such a foul industry. Man, I never use that word. Foul. But it's true.
Yeah. I think it takes a lot of courage for you to say that. And, you know, I remember when we had our first conversation about it and you shared that with me. And I mean, honestly, I had no idea. I had no idea that you even watched porn. But I mean, I'm going to guess most wives or girlfriends, they probably don't even know that their husband or boyfriends watch porn. I'm sure they probably don't talk about that openly. But I mean, I think, you know, even during our marriage prep portion, you know, it was good because it brought those things to the surface to where we could feel comfortable or even think about really talking about that stuff. Because otherwise, I mean, who knows? Like, if we didn't do this whole, like, shift and we didn't get back into our faith and do this whole marriage prep counseling, like, and we would have continued on the path we were on previously, like, I don't think I would have ever known. And I don't think you would have ever been able to do that introspection and growth personally in that area of your life.
Yeah. I was getting there. I was slowing down by myself because I knew it was bad. It was eating away at me. I knew eventually I would have got there.
Yeah.
It was really slow. It was really slowing down. But that was because, one, I knew it was bad. I was getting married. I was going to put that as a value for our marriage.
Yeah.
But some people don't, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is bad. But then, like, people also cheat, which is even more terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to be prideful about that it was slowing down. But like, it, you know, without God as the foundation of our marriage, that slowing down means nothing.
Yeah.
It could speed back up. Like, without that foundation, without those things that need to be said before you get married, the things you need to learn as a couple, an individual, separately, it makes the world a difference. Like, yeah, just very thankful to go through all that, to echo that, being in some kind of marriage prep. It sounds cringy. It sounds, you know, trite and cliche, but it was good. Even though most of the things we already, you know, did and practiced, and but there's a lot in there, you know, we're gonna revisit. I think it'll be good to do this podcast once a year, and it'll be good to go through that that booklet. I'd hope more than once a year, but I mean, we kind of know when we're doing something wrong, and we kind of like fix it immediately. Or try to, like, you know, our past couple of fights in the last couple of days.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, I would recommend some form of marriage prep to everyone before getting married. Really, like, I mean, I feel like it makes a big difference in terms of just your mindset going into the marriage, making sure that your values are truly aligned, intentions are on the same page, you know. I think it was good. Yeah, for us, like, we just so happen to have had a lot of these conversations throughout our relationship, but I think that's just because we've always had more, like, deeper conversations just naturally, just who we are. So over the years, we've been working on these things little by little already. But regardless, it was still good to have that platform to revisit some things, and then also get to meet other people that are more advanced in their marriage journey and get their perspective and outlook on things. And I think that was helpful too. I don't know, what's been your favorite part of the journey with the whole, like, leading up to our marriage?
In regards to marriage prep or in general?
It could be either one.
just loving you in a different way than I never thought that would be possible is one. And then two, planning our future after, and planning our, just developing the character to be excited, developing the character that is required to be excited for kids.
Yeah.
And to be ready, and so ready for that, even if we haven't had sex or made love for almost a year now. That's a huge accomplishment. Like, we don't have to be prideful, but like,
but I'm gonna be a little prideful.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of crazy saying it out loud.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Like, we're ready for kids, but we don't even know how to make love anymore.
Yeah, we're not going to let our parents watch this.
Too bad. Like, it's not even that bad to like be prideful about, because like there's going to, like, what resonated in the marriage prep was like this period of celibacy teaches you to go, it's going to teach our future selves, oh, this is that period again. We have to go through this again. You might have, there might be something bad happening with you, with me, or we have, God forbid, we have to be separated for a long period of time. It's like, okay, if we could do this when we were 33 and 29, we can do this now, as whatever age we are when we have to go through that again.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a couple weeks, a month? That's pretty hard. We could do it.
Yeah.
Like, those are the type of conversations that we're going to be having when we're like 30 or, 40, 50, 60, wherever we're at.
Well, and even just like in the short term stuff too, like, for instance, like, after we have our first kid, like, we're going to have to be celibate for a little bit, and it's natural. Everyone goes through that. But yeah, I think it's going to definitely prepare us for those situations a bit more. And I feel like for me, this whole period of celibacy has really, again, it's really helped reshape how I view intimacy. And I feel like once we're married, it's going to make those moments that much more special and meaningful. And it's just, I think it's going to be a beautiful thing. And I'm excited.
Me too. Oh, 5 days.
So, are you nervous about anything? Being at the 5-day mark?
No, Alex asked me if I was nervous too last week. And I'm like, the only thing that makes us nervous is like the planning, like the stuff that we were arguing about last couple of days. But like we're getting married, like we're going to have kids soon. We're going to start our life. Well, there is a lot of reasons to be fearful, but like, what is that? When like you're with who God sent you to be with.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people can say that.
Yeah.
or confidently, without a doubt, till death do us part.
Mm-hmm. You gonna cry, and I'm gonna cry with you.
We'll see. We'll see. I think that does it. We got to eat dinner. 6:30.
Yeah. Cut.